Welcome. You are about to take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition show. For the next hour, allow her to prepare you in becoming a magnet for a profound love-infused relationship by identifying and focusing on solutions through love. Awaken the light within and let your essence shine. And now, here's Deborah Beauvais on Love by Intuition, all part of the Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Welcome, everyone. Bonjour, mes amis. And yes, here I am, Deborah Beauvais, founder and owner of the Dream Vision 7 radio network. We're a syndicated Boston-based internet radio station. You can listen to us wherever you are. It doesn't matter what country, what city, whether you're in the car, whether you're in the home or walking, you can listen to us. And we are proud to be the media partner for the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. Well, I have a special guest because she was with us back in September of last year. And I loved her spirit, her energy, her soul. So I've invited her back, and her name is Julia Paulette Hollenbery. She's in the UK, London, and her book, it's a fabulous book. It's The Healing Power of Pleasure, 7 Medicines for Rediscovering the Innate Joy of Being. And it explores, I just want to read this little piece because hidden just below the surface of ordinary day-to-day reality lies an abundance of pleasure and delight. By learning to look beyond your daily challenges, you can ease your stressed mind and body and rediscover the magic, mystery, sensuality, and joy that is possible in everyday life. That's what everyone needs. So we talked about a number of things last time, so listen to that show. Just in our search, look for Julia Paulette, and it will come up. And today we're going to be talking about a number of things, one being rebalancing the masculine and feminine in ourselves, society, life, all of it. So without further and I should mention, this is a live show. You can call in and ask Julia or myself a question. Bob is in the house. He'll answer your call and put you through. The number here is 833-220-1200. 833-220-1200. So without further ado, welcome back to the show, Julia.
Thank you so much, Deborah.
You're welcome. And so because today is 2/22/22, I wanted to put that out first. And from what I've heard, it's all about balance and transformation, which is very much what we'll be talking about with the masculine and the feminine. But what do those numbers mean to you?
I'm not a number expert, but from what I've heard, the 2s are about the feminine, bringing in the feminine. And we need the feminine to balance the very masculine way in which we all live. And of course, today is a significant day in terms of the globe. Things are on the move. So our conversation and invitation and encouragement for the feminine, and I hope, will be part of a sacred and important rebalancing that is needed.
Yes. Now, what else is going on with the world that you speak of, other than the mess that we're in?
Well, I'm thinking of what's going on in Russia and Ukraine.
Ukraine, okay. Yes. Yeah. It's, when you look at it from a higher perspective or from your higher self, you see what is happening with the world where, and you speak of this in the book as well, where we are moving to more of a balance and unity and love and respect and honoring ourselves and others. You can see that, and it's actually the old white man focused on control and war and division is, they're losing the energy that they once had for years, and what's bubbling up is the energy of God, feminine, all unity, unity consciousness, because all of that other war, greed, all of that is unconscious living. These people are unconscious of what the purpose and the root of why we're here. So can you, I know you see it, do you? And do you want to speak to that in more of a depth?
That's about power over and domination. Hurting others in order to get what I think that I need in order to survive. It's at a survival level. Mm-hmm. I think that women everywhere, and of course the feminine in men, we're talking really about the energy here, not gender. The feminine is inclusive and kind and relational and dynamic and many, many things. And it is connected with the body and the earth. And we are seeing a great awakening in terms of interest in the body and also in nature, in the earth, in the sheer survival of the earth.
Yeah. And why has it taken, when you think about it, it's more than a couple of thousand years that it seems that women have struggled to have a voice. And so its evolution for the human race has been slow. And yet it isn't. When you think on Earth, there's time, but from a higher perspective, there is no time.
One of the things that I explored when I was writing the book is looking at time almost like a human life. And we can see in the ancient times, the women held the power in society and in spiritual positions. And then that shifted to the men and being more territorial and possessive, and us all learning to operate and to function in a very mental way, in a very action-oriented way. And now it seems that we need the balance of both of these things, because it's not at all that the masculine way of doing things is wrong, not at all. The masculine is gorgeous and necessary and needed. But we need it in the right proportions for each of us as an individual and for our world as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's so you talk about, I mean, I love your words in the book. They dance on the page with all the, the deliciousness. And for those listening, Julia Paulette's website is actually that delicious, the universe of deliciousness.com. Yeah. That's her website, which I love. But the words that you choose are really, they hit home. How did you become so descriptive with your words where you can actually feel them? Where did that come from?
I don't know, but I was reading recently some of the letters that I wrote to my mom when I was younger, and they were full of beautiful description. I don't know, thank you.
You're welcome.
I guess these are things that I really care about, and it matters to language them, and to language them precisely.
Mm.
So it comes from lots of feeling.
Mm-hmm. So you must have, when I think of your relationship with your partner, it must be most glorious because of your... Am I... because of what you feel and what you put forth with your words. It just feels that way.
We have fun.
Yes, I bet.
And we travel.
I bet you do. So getting back to and I always say divine masculine and the divine feminine. What does that mean to you when we speak of divine versus leaving the divine word out?
I guess it means our truest nature or our essential nature as opposed to our conditioned way of behaving. And there are falsities for both men and women. Someone that I was speaking to recently was talking about how the men in her office are all like little kings and they all think they know the way things are.
Mm-hmm.
And women also can be ugly and unkind to men, right? Women can be very
controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Belittling and dismissive of men and kind of treating them like not right women. So the divine... Children. Yeah. So the divine version, the sacred, the inherent beauty must be, the truest. I mean, there are forces in the universe, the masculine and the feminine. They're way bigger than us as human beings. Creation comes from, these forces meeting. So I think that for us to really live, that is really, really honouring each other and ourselves. One is not better than the other. They're different. And again, we need them both.
How do we teach each other, though? How do we, as what you have shared, the mess of life and everyday life that people are thrown into and everything that's been happening, whether it's the pandemic and the fear that has risen so quickly, and it's every day, you really have to tune that out. And as you mentioned, the Ukraine and what they must be going through, and there's collective consciousness. So because we're all interconnected, we feel that. We might not be in the Ukraine, but we feel that. So how do you perceive we get to a point where we can honor each other and honor each other's gender, whatever that may be? I mean, for me, everything goes back to going within, knowing your truth, and living from that place, and you wake up because you really are tuned into the real you. But what would you say, Julia?
Right. I mean, I agree with that. For me, it's the body. So if we look at the masculinized way of living, it's about competition, and I know better than you. I've got the right answer. I've got the right piece of information. I'm faster than you. When we are in contact with our bodies, our feeling, sensitive, sensual bodies, we are much more in contact with our feelings and our vulnerability, our authenticity, our power, as well as our vulnerability. Then we can really feel each other, and we're in touch with our inner wisdom. We know what to do. We feel what's the right thing to do. We don't logicalize it. We feel it. It comes from our instincts. And I think that they can guide us It's very, very simple, isn't it, really? They can guide us. You know, the simplicity of looking at the other, listening to the other, really appreciating the other as they are in this moment without wanting them to be different in order to satisfy our needs and wants. Really taking somebody else in the beauty of them exactly as they are and honouring them for the life that they've lived. That's massive healing.
Yeah.
Then we can all come forth with our gifts.
Yes. Yes. And if we are able to do that, partners under one roof, we're teaching the kids a different way. I mean, I feel as though the kids are coming in already knowing, but then they get taught a different way because we don't teach, you know, about the mind, body, spirit in schools. And if you're not hearing about connection in the body and how to love your body as is and be in gratitude for how great it can, the legs can walk and the eyes can see, we're not taught that. So it's, do you see a time where it'll flip, where we will be taught those things, the kids will be taught in the school system one day?
Let's pray for it. Let's believe it. I think, no, really, yeah. I mean, wouldn't that be beautiful?
Yes.
When we come to understand that real education is waking up to the wonder of learning and curiosity and finding out and exploring. It's not about learning facts and figures and techniques and knowledge. It's about being awake to discovering.
Yes.
And of course parents have a huge, and communities have a huge role on children. We model it.
That's right. Right. Yeah.
But the
children
so
we're talking about the...
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, go. What were you saying?
No, the children are smart and beautiful and see what's right and what's not right. If it's
that's
not
right.
knocked out of them.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I just realized we're already at a break time, so everyone, we need to take a break, but we'll be right back, more with Julia Paulette Hollenbery, and our number here is 833-220-1200. It's toll-free, 833-220-1200. That's in the U.S. anyway. So hold on, we'll be back. Don't go away.
Experience a different yet profound healing with Reconnective Healing. Includes yet expands beyond any and all known forms of energy healing. The Reconnective Healing spectrum is comprised of the full healing and evolutionary continuum of energy, light, and information. It allows for healings that are not just physical, not just mental, not just emotional, yet go beyond that to bring healing that includes the evolution of your very being and essence. Deborah Beauvais, trained and certified by world-renowned Dr. Eric Pearl, offers appointment hours at Seekonk Family Chiropractic in Seekonk, Massachusetts. For questions or to set up both distance or local sessions, call Deborah at 508-431-1959. Again, 508-431-1959. Or go to lovebyintuition.com. That's lovebyintuition.com.
Take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition Show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. Our message is love in the purest form. The light within us all is a guide to recall our beginning, to learn to love self and humankind, and to feel the higher power of our own divinity. To attract love, one needs to be love. Come join us and step into this glorious vibration called love.
After narrowly surviving the attack on Sandy Hook Elementary, first grade teacher Caitlin Roy DeBellis was left searching for answers that would never come. Eventually, she chose to focus on questions that could be answered. How do I make sure this tragedy doesn't define us? How do we get our control back? Those two questions led her to found the 501c3 nonprofit organization Classes for Classes. When gifts poured into their classroom, she decided they would help someone else by paying it forward and being kind. This developed into a social network which allows K-8 classrooms to connect so that every student in the United States can learn these crucial lessons. Classes for Classes' mission is to build students' social-emotional intelligence by connecting them to care. All C4C projects are crowdfunded. Any teacher in the U.S. can visit classesforclasses.org. That's classes, the number 4, classes.org. Sign up today.
Looking for a fun and relaxing getaway? Omega Rest and Rejuvenation Retreats are a great way to unwind and renew your spirit. Sit and read in the garden, explore the woodland trails, or try a daily yoga or meditation class. You can stretch your body, quiet your mind, and do as much or as little as you choose. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids children's book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we are back. You're listening to Love by Intuition, which airs Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And we're live usually on a Tuesday, so at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And do go on to our site. We have a number of things going on. We always have books that we celebrate and elevate. There's 3 winners every month, so check that out. It's Dream Visions, all one word with an S on the end, the number 7, radio.com. And we're back with Julia Paulette Hollenbery, who is a bodyworker, therapist, mystic, healer, and facilitator, but a beautiful writer and author of this book, The Healing Power of Pleasure. There's actually poems within the book as well, and I'm first going to, and I know this is a spontaneous thing, I'm first going to ask you if you would like to read it, if it's handy with you, and if not, I will, because I think it's so neat. It's called Living Deliciousness, and that's really you in a nutshell.
You'll have to tell me on which page it is. I've got it right here.
It's 216. And with your accent and sensuality, you'd come across so much more exciting.
Okay. Living deliciousness. Life is not just something that we have, like a car, handbag, or home. Life is something much bigger than any of us. We live within the aliveness of life. We are lived by life. We're life-loving life, potent creators and enjoyers of deliciousness. Living delicious. Let us live this life in unconditional acceptance of all that is. Right now, this sensation and this feeling fully. Not either or, we prefer, and both. Let us live to the brim, dance full tilt with life, and know that everything is always changing. How am I just now? Bliss is the energy that responds to stillness, a new consciousness of heart, connected not just to me, but to all in the universe, alive.
I just love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks. It was fun to read it.
I'm sorry?
Thank you for asking. It's fun to read it.
Yes, yes. Well, you can feel it. I don't know. You can feel the words, which I love. And speaking of that, the deliciousness of God in the book, share from your perception or from your perspective, should I say. What do you believe with God? How would you describe he or she? Or
I came to understand or to feel or to believe or to sense that God is not, if you like, a vertical experience. Sometimes I think of God as being a horizontal experience, meaning that everything is imbued with Godness. There's nothing that isn't. Everything material is not just material. Everything that exists is imbued with Godness. Us included, of course.
When you use the term horizontal, the first thing I'm thinking of is that most people would think of God at the end of their life while they're horizontal. Is that what you meant, or is there another meaning?
I meant that very often we think of God and spirituality in a hierarchical fashion, that God is above and that we need to be higher, our higher self or our higher consciousness. And my sense is that it's horizontal. We are all imbued on the horizontal plane, as if God is coming from behind us and through us.
And within us. How do you, we have the presence of God, I feel, within us, always. How do you feel about that?
I have another description of God, if you'd like it.
Okay, great.
Also, with unusual words, perhaps, I think of God as a kind of huge octopus. I mean, a ginormous kind of octopus with many, many, many arms. And if you imagine the tip of each of the arms is you or me or the glass or the radiator or the table or the tree or the chair. And this God being is constantly moving the tips of the tentacles, so that there are many, many, many unlimited amounts of meetings, of interactions, of relationships between any two or more things.
I like that too. That's a good way of describing it to kids as well, little ones. I like that. Everyone, it seems, these days are finding their own relationship with God, Source, Creator. And as time has gone on, some of the churches have been trying to recruit people to come to them. But people, especially even the millennials and the younger generations, are finding that they can have their own relationship with God. And I think it's a beautiful thing. It isn't that one is better than the other. It's all there for whoever wants to have it. How do you feel about that, Julia?
I guess it is true that everyone can have a direct and immediate relationship with God however they conceive of it. You know, in the old days we had priests of various forms in various cultures that mediated between the people and the divinity. And it seems absolutely that we can all find our own direct path. And for some people, of course, God is nature. For some, God is in a church, synagogue, mosque, temple. For others, God is dancing. For others, God is in poetry or prayer. And there probably is an unlimited way of making connection. It's undeniable when there is a real meeting, a real connection, a real sense. Presence is absolutely palpable. But the root there, we can all find our own roots, can't we?
Very nice. Speaking of relationships and going back to partnership, and a lot of people talk about being vulnerable and coming from their truth with their partner, especially when they're meeting at the beginning instead of these facades that people tend to put on, thinking that's what they want to see or know. How important do you think vulnerability is in this day and age?
Well, one has to have discretion, right? Because, you don't want to go saying too much to the wrong person. That wouldn't be wise at all, right? And yet there can be no intimacy without authentic revealing, without genuine vulnerability. But it can't be forced. It has to arise naturally from feeling safe with the other person and, of course, taking a risk at times. And, it's essential to any real relationship, whoever it's between, whether that's between lovers or parents and children, or for that matter, even colleagues, right? It's the authenticity that makes the bonding, that makes us care.
Right. And I think it's so important to be real, come from your truth, because then you can feel. And some people are afraid to feel or have felt, and it's painful. But I feel as though that's one of the pieces of why we're here on earth, so that we can feel all the different emotions. And if we're not coming from our truth, then the interaction between the two people, or if in a business environment, whatever you want to put it to, isn't really authentic and real. And how do you solve problems and situations unless you're coming from your truth of being authentic and feeling? Feeling is so important. I'm sure. Do you agree with that? The feeling. I shouldn't even ask you, Julia, because if you're tuned into your body and all the different things that you talk about for pleasure and gratitude for your body and all the different pieces, it nourishes us. You got to feel.
Yeah, but I totally, so much so, absolutely. And what I'm thinking of is that when one is on the spiritual path, it can be really easy to use spiritual language against your partner. And you think you're being spiritual, and to go, oh, stop projecting on me. It's hard to really dig deep and own one's own feelings and really take responsibility for one's truth. And we all make mistakes along the way. You know, we have to learn those skills to become skillful in relationship. Because, as you said before, we're not taught it in schools and we're not taught it in, you know, the common places. We have to find it and practice it and become skillful with it.
Right. It's like one of those muscles that you have to work all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's no good being vulnerable with someone else who's playing a different game. You know, you've got to also know which level to speak at with whom.
Yes, yes. And if you tune into your intuitive spot within us all, it always guides us correctly. It always speaks the truth. And if we listen to that, you usually can feel the situation if someone is coming from a different place. Unless it's a new relationship of partners and you're infatuated, then everything is cloudy. However, you know, I think if we tune into the intuitive abilities we all have more often and follow that guidance, then we will be in a much better, safer situation.
Yeah, I agree. And also I wanted to add that, you know, you don't want to tell too much as well. Mystery is kind of essential to the romance of a relationship.
That's right. That's right. If I can recall, yeah. Good point.
You know, be authentic, but, you know, you don't have to tell every single thing all at once.
That's right. That's right. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, we are coming up on our next break. For everyone listening, go to Julia Paulette's website, universeofdeliciousness.com. She's also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and you can find that through her website, universeofdeliciousness.com. So stay with us. Again, you can still call. Bob is in the house, and we'll put you through 833-220-1200. Don't be shy. It'll be fun if you called in with a thought or question. So we'll be back in a moment.
Take a journey to a place of the divine love within with Deborah Beauvais on the Love by Intuition Show, Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. Our message is love in the purest form. The light within us all is a guide to recall our beginning, to learn to love self and humankind, and to feel the higher power of our own divinity. To attract love, one needs to be love. Come join us and step into this glorious vibration called love.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids Children's Book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
Are miracles real? Can you move from mayhem to miracles? 30 prominent authors say yes as they share their high fives and down lows of challenges, abuse, addiction, and love. Experience hope, the magic elixir of miracles, through the personal stories of New York Times bestselling authors James Redfield, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Sister Jenna, Reverend Temple Hayes, and many more. If you like bestsellers, chaos to clarity, and crappy to happy, you'll love Crying and Laughing Through Mayhem to Miracles. Sacred Stories of Transformational Hope. Available now on Amazon and in bookstores worldwide.
It's a child's job to play, to learn, and to have fun. It's an adult's job to keep them safe. Did you know that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18? Every day, families enter the Children's Advocacy Center because a child's courage to tell someone what happened to them. Keeping our children safe starts with a conversation. This is Michelle Aranger, Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center. Learn more on how to keep your child safe. Visit cacofbc.org. This message made possible by the Fall River Rotary Club.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Julia, we were talking about, well, you mentioned the word mystery. So let's talk about what's in the book with the mystery of potential. Can you tell us about that?
When I was writing the book, I knew exactly what should go into the book except for potency. And potency I really had to reach for. And I was surprised by what I found. In the end, potency is really about kindness. Kindness to self, kindness to others. In part, it's the answer to the question you asked at the start of the program about how we can honor and really see each other. And potency is about getting it out of the way. If you like, lots of different techniques, I called them integrative technologies, for being in the neutral central channel, for being neither too far forward or too far back, neither too leaning to the left or to the right, too lazy or too active. It's about again and again and again coming to the point of poise, of elegance, of neutrality, equanimity. And we have to work at that, because otherwise if we just do everything by compulsion and by unconsciousness, we all end up skew with our strong preferences and our habits. It's also about doing that in a social context, creating beauty again and again and again. So potency is about laying the ground, being prepared to activate the potential. And the potential, each of our unique potentials, and I guess the potential of the world soul too, can come when we are all in our neutrality, which doesn't mean boringness, the opposite. It means attending that we're really alive and awake and here and present and joyful.
Right. It's our divine birthright. The more that we tend to our bodies and to ourselves and nurture ourselves and in gratitude, as I mentioned earlier, for everything that the body does. I mean, it's our divine birthright to have that, to know that, to be that. And many of us, including myself, it's been years where you feel you're thinking more about what others need of you, and that what goes with that is a lot of unworthiness thoughts and such. So that's one of the things about your book. It really hones in on the specialness of each one of us, and for each of us to realize that in a deep level, that we can live that finally after all these years. It's our divine birthright.
Mm-hmm. But it takes work. And the work is
yes.
fun too. It's not work like hard work, really. But it takes bothering. It takes bothering. We don't get there by zoning out and slobbing out. We have to bother to take care of ourselves. And gratitude, you just mentioned gratitude, it is one of the technologies that help us to get there.
Yeah. It's powerful, that gratitude. You speak of a new Eden of Earth. Share what you mean by that for the listeners.
I think that there is great hope, and it will be a different way of being, where we do live from our hearts and our souls and our bodies, where we do include everyone and take care of everyone, where we are including the needs of nature as well as our own needs, where we are including the needs of our bodies and not just meeting our deadlines. So a really inclusive world where we can all get what we need enough to be happy and relaxed. And when I talk about pleasure in the book, it's often that when we're empty and we're exhausted and we're lonely, we are hungry, we need attention from somewhere, from something, we need to be filled up. And pleasure is a nourishment that can fill us up. And when we are filled up, then we contribute to a positive vortex where we are co-creating together more happiness, more fun, more joy, more delight, more deliciousness. And I think it's possible. It's a shift from where we are now, but it's not really that big a shift. We can do it. It's like it's both big and small at the same time. I think it's achievable, and I think many of us would like it. These past years have shown us that actually the old ordinary way that we've been living hasn't been that much fun. It didn't work so well anyway. So this new way of being that we can all access, that is body-based and does include everyone and enables us to access the intuition, the personal power, the inner wisdom that we all have. And of course, when we're able to act more from that than from old mental maps, we will be taking better decisions and better actions. We will
beautifully said.
A better world.
Yes. I like the way you explain or say it's big and it's small, and it's so true. It's a big step, and yet it isn't. And all of us that put out the vibrations of love and care and compassion and harmony and all of those emotions that we put out, they're tangible. We feel that, as I mentioned early on, with even the heavy stuff. So the more we can awaken, everyone can awaken and feed the frequency of love and unity, then that actually helps all this other unbalance fall away. And people can will feel that. Now it goes back to feelings. And that's how we thrive. If you're experiencing pain and then you experience euphoria or a a powerful moment or a God tingles, whatever you're experiencing in the course of your life or day. You know, it just, there's nothing, it's a priceless feeling when you're in that glow, when you're in that light feeling. Yeah. So
lovely. I mean, there's many of us who are doing this work.
Yes.
A lot of people are engaged in this kind of work, reading these kinds of books, listening to these kinds of podcasts and radio shows. You know, there are lots of people who want and are making positive change. And of course, we all have such, again, big and small effect on everyone all the time. We walk down the street and, you know, who knows what we transmit to the people we pass on the street or in the bus or in the train or at the supermarket. You know, all of these small, sometimes silent, sometimes spoken interactions. They're not just with our family and neighbours and friends. You know, we have an effect, each of us, on so many different people. And in that way, together, we absolutely can positively change the world. But of course, we don't get to the harmony and bliss by just thinking it. You know, you have to move, and we used the word authentically earlier, we have to move with integrity through our difficulties and our struggles and our pain and our anger and our fear. And as we work with it, it metabolizes and changes, and we become melted by bliss, and we become open to the loveliness. I was going to say the glory, actually. And
yes.
And then we are co-creating. We can co-create a new Eden. But we can't suppress it.
And we're opening new pathways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting times that we live in. We have to. We have to transform the difficulties for ourselves, for our children, for our ancestors, for the world, you know. We have to. We want to. Many of us want to. It's worth bothering.
Yes. Yes, we do.
And the fruits are the pleasure and the delight, as well as the wisdom, as well as the confidence and the resilience, you know.
Yes.
The joy, delight, satisfaction.
Well, yes, I love every word you're sharing. And, gee, the time is gone, and we need to say goodbye. And it's been such a pleasure to have you back and hear your sacred words. It's the way you share them that really connects to the soul. So I thank you for that.
We're all doing our good work. Love by Intuition is your show.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's however many years it is now, 18 years or 19 years, and the station is 15 years, this 22. So it is amazing, the journey of life. So I thank you again with much love, Julia, and we'll stay connected. And for those listening, pass the show around, pass a little nugget of wisdom, re-listen. It's like a book. Every time you listen, even later, a year down the road, you're taking in something that can uplift your life, change your day-to-day in just a little bit. And Julia's book is The Healing Power of Pleasure, 7 Medicines for Rediscovering the Innate Joy of Being. Julia Paulette Hollenbery. Thank you so much, Julia. Bless you, and bless everyone, all of what's happening out in the world. there are gifts there to see and focus on the gifts and the change that we can make within ourselves to make a difference. And that's free. It doesn't, you don't have to buy anything. You just make the change within our own lives. So with that said, until the next time we come together, much love, Julia. Au revoir.
Much love to you, Deborah. Bye-bye.
Are you seeking a clearer path to love? Then tune in to the Love by Intuition show next week. All designed to your highest good. To contact Deborah Beauvais, owner of Empowered Connections, call her at 508-226-1723. That's 508-226-1723. Or link on to lovebyintuition.com. Remember, we are all one, and we are all part of the miracle of love.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.